The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Thursday morning. Shout out to everyone that is tuned in. I got my guy, Little Buddies, New Mexico, tuned in over on Instagram. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, of course, over on Instagram, as I just gave them a little bit of a shout out. Want to give a shout out to our friends over at crushednuts.com, crushedpeanuts.com. Check them out. They are a local product here in El Paso. It's protein, right? So it's a bunch of protein, helps you out with your workouts, does all the things that you needed to do. Crushed Peanuts is the brand. Crushedpeanuts.com, the website to check it out. They sell it here locally at a bunch of different gas stations, Valeros, Chevrons, etc. Ask for it at your nearest gas station. Crushed Peanuts and crushedpeanuts.com. So yesterday, I was on a bunch of shows. I was all over the place yesterday. I too many shows for one man to do. And one of the things that kept being brought up was pressure, right? Like what teams are under pressure, what athletes are under pressure, blah, 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 blah. Who's going to do what? Who's not going to do what? What happens if this team doesn't do what, we expect these teams to do? And as we're going through a lot of these scenarios, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what if, right? Like football gives you 100% the most what if, because you only get 17 games. Then you get the playoffs, and at the most, you get maybe 21 games, right? Like that's if your team makes it in the wild card, goes all the way to the Super Bowl, 21 games. A quarter of like the NBA season, of the NHL season. That's it. And the question kept being brought up, what teams have pressure on them? What teams need to perform or are going to have a coaching change or going to have a personnel change? And one of the teams that came up See my dude, the Crooked Commish, saying, Money Mike, what's good? What's good, Crooked Commish? Hope that you were having yourself a fantastic day today. It was awesome being a part of your show yesterday, the Fantasy Football Hour. Talking a little bit of fantasy football. We had Bones, and it was a fun time. It was a real fun time. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. One of the many shows that I did yesterday. I ain't complaining. I'm just saying I love doing it. Invite me on more times. I'll do it as much as I can. But we're talking about pressure. And one of the teams that came up was actually the Crooked Commish's team, the Chicago Bears. And everyone was talking about, does Caleb Williams have to live up to the pressure? What pressure is there on Caleb Williams? Myron Metcalf on ESPN Radio said this yesterday as well, that Ben Johnson has no loyalty, has no allegiance to Caleb Williams. So he doesn't have to go above and beyond to keep him on the team. He doesn't have to go above and beyond to do all the other stuff that it is that he has to do. And they could just bring in a veteran quarterback, or they can move on from Caleb Williams if Caleb Williams doesn't finish this year better. And I had to sit back and think about it. I'm looking up the stuff right now. It's not as cut and dry as that, right? Like it can't be as cut and dry as that. Because if you look at the list of quarterbacks, Caleb Williams was ahead of Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Russell Wilson, Bryce Young, Drake May, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, Will Levis, Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Gardner Minshew, Dak Prescott, and Cooper Rush, Anthony Richardson, right? He had a solid enough season. It wasn't great, but he had a solid enough season. Got my dude, Tommy Canazzo, tuning in saying, what's good, Tip? What's good, Tommy? Hope that you're having yourself a great day, my friend. We're talking about pressure right now. Pressure on teams. What teams genuinely have pressure on them? And then today, as I walk the kids to school on the way back, I tend to put on my AirPods, got them right here, and I listen to ESPN Radio on the way back, supporting my guy, Pat Costello, at Unsportsmanlike, doing all that stuff, right? And I hear Chris Canty say that he believes what Myron Metcalf said, that the Bears could foreseeably move on from Caleb Williams if Caleb Williams doesn't have an improvement on this season. If the Bears finish in last place, Ben Johnson and them boys can move on from Caleb Williams so quickly. And I sit back and I think to myself, that can't be the case, right? Like that just flatly cannot be the case. Because the last thing you want is instability at that particular position. You still have a guy who's serviceable. Again, like let's look at Caleb Williams' numbers. I feel like I'm a Bears fan all of a sudden. Caleb Williams, 3,500 yards, 6 interceptions, 20 touchdowns, with no offensive line, no real targets. Now they've got him some targets, right? They've got him some weapons. He's got a better offensive coordinator out there. It's going to be a pretty decent season for Caleb Williams. But if you're expecting him to get like 4,000 yards or 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns in his second season with the Chicago Bears, you're out of your effing mind, man. There's no way that that's going to happen. And even if the Bears were to somehow finish in last place in that division, we have to remember that the NFC North is going to be absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Even if the Vikings, the Lions, and the Packers take a step back, all three of those teams won double-digit games last year. And I'm on record as saying, like, I don't believe the Lions are going to win 15 games this year. I don't think that the Vikings are going to win 14 games this year. I don't think that Well, I mean, the Packers could win another 11 or 10 games this year, right? Like it's a real possibility that it can happen that way. If the Bears are last in the division and they win 7 or 8 games, I still think of that as like a major improvement to what it was a couple of years ago, to what it is now, right? Like, as long as they keep showing signs of improvement, even if you finish last, like, again, I feel like that division is going to be extremely tight. That might be the most fun division to watch in football, right? Because you can say the Bears are getting better. Everyone keeps saying the AFC North, right? Baltimore, I feel like, is going to run away with that division. I don't trust Pittsburgh. I don't trust Cincinnati after talking it out yesterday with everybody. And Cleveland is going to be bad. Then everyone says, okay, let's look at the AFC West. Kansas City's good. Denver's good. Los Angeles, the Chargers are good. Well, you know what team doesn't have the arrow pointing up for it the same way that the Bears have the arrow pointing up for it? The Las Vegas Raiders, right? Like, they're going to be the team that everyone in that division beats up on. Maybe the Bears are that team in the NFC North, but you know you're going to get a fight from the Bears. You know the Bears are going to be good. Like, they were in a bunch of games last year. Our dude B. Strilla saying good morning, Tip. Good morning to you, Strilla. Hope that you're having yourself a great day, my friend. We were talking about teams, what pressure might be on what teams. And we're starting off right now because it was something that I heard yesterday on ESPN radio, earlier today on ESPN radio, rehashed it with me, was that the Chicago Bears have pressure on them. Caleb Williams has pressure on them because Ben Johnson has no loyalty, no allegiance to Caleb Williams. He can move on from him after one season if the Bears finish in last place, if Caleb Williams doesn't have a phenomenal season this year. That's what could happen. And I just don't see it that way. I don't think the recipe to success in Chicago is going to be constantly having a revolving door at quarterback, especially when you have a young guy at quarterback that you have on a team-friendly deal, that you have now a bunch of players built around him, that he could be better, right? Like it feels like the arrow, once again, the arrow for the Bears is pointing up. Caleb will be fine. Too many overreactions. That's what B. Strilla is saying right now in the comment section. I agree with you, right? Like I don't understand. Again, like you look at the top quarterbacks of last year. Yards, right? Total yards. Jaden Daniels had 27 more yards passing than Caleb Williams did. Yet somehow, some way, we're making it seem as though Jaden Daniels was exponentially better than Caleb Williams. And it's just not that way. Our guy, Little Buddies NM, saying they can get Shedeur Sanders for a steal. Bears can turn into Dallas, make it more about personality and fame than the game. It works for Jerry. I guess Shedeur Sanders would be on a more, like, it wouldn't even be a team-friendly deal. Like, honestly, it wouldn't be team-friendly. Like, you've got Caleb Williams for the next 4 years, right? There's a first-round draft pick, 4 years on the contract, a fifth-year option that the team can do. Then you can franchise him for 2 more years. Like, you've effectively got a quarterback for the next 7 years. The Crooked Commission saying it's about the W's. But realistically, right? Like realistically, what is the ceiling for the Chicago Bears this year? Like it's not about, again, like I can't see them being a Super Bowl contending team. Would I be surprised if the Chicago Bears wind up making a run towards the playoffs? Like if they're good, even late into the season, I would not be surprised by it, right? Like I feel like the Bears have the arrow pointing up. Like I look at Washington. And I know Washington made the NFC Championship game, and that's like the thing now, right? Like, oh my God, Washington made the NFC Championship game now. So Dallas now has the longest drought in the NFC of a team not making the championship game or whatever. But I also feel like it's impossible for Washington to reach that level of success in year number 2. If they do, I'm more than willing to be like, you know what? My bad. My bad, guys. But I just can't see a scenario where Washington is the second best team in the NFC. Like, I just don't see it. They got hot at the right time last year. They did what they needed to do. And they got there, right? I look at Washington like I always look at it in arrows, right? You got certain teams that have the arrow pointing up, certain teams that have the arrow pointing down. I look at Washington, I think the arrow is slightly down, like it's more equal than it is down. But I still don't like I don't look at the Washington Commanders as the second best team in the NFC. B. Strilla getting on my good side, saying Dallas is winning the NFC East. I don't know, man. I saw them lose against the Rams in preseason game number 1. Classic Michael Tipton overreaction. Classic overreacting tip. That also sounds like a disease. It sounds like something that there'd be a commercial for. Again, like Aaron Rodgers. You know, they showed the video of Aaron Rodgers practicing, and it looks like slow motion Cialis commercial. That would also be the same type of commercial for an overreactive tip. Is your tip overreactive? Doing the foot drills, doing all that stuff. I think I might make a commercial for that now. What would be the side effects of overreactive tip? Unhappy nuts. That would be one of the side effects. Unhappy nuts. Little buddies laughing at it saying, ah, ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Is your tip overreactive? I'll work on that. ORT, overreactive tip. There we go. Do you suffer from ORT? Parenthetically, overreactive tip. What would that even look like? Like, I don't even want to visualize that, but what would that even look like? Like just a drippy dick? Is that what it is? I probably shouldn't have said that. I've got to become more professional. All the radio training, all like the going to school, getting a degree, doing all that just goes out the window while this show turns on. I turn on the microphone and I just wind up being my normal self again. Also, Tommy, I forgot that school might be started. I genuinely hope that your children are not in the car, as I just said what I just said. Continuous drip, reddening of the area, gangrenous, just throbbing, localized throbbing. We can call it that, localized throbbing, pulsating. The way I get thinking about the Dallas Cowboys, an overreactive tip. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is where I need producers and professionals on the show, or else I turn it into the circus act that it winds up becoming. The Chicago Bears, to me, I don't look at that team as a team that has a bunch of pressure on it. I look at them as a team that can be, if it turns purple, seek medical help. Black and blue, not for you. My daughter says she doesn't appreciate this conversation. My apologies. My apologies, sincerely. I always forget. Tommy, I will try to do better. I will let the shenanigans happen after 8:30. After 8:30, the first 30 minutes of this show need to be as buttoned up and professional as possible. Millie Stevenson saying, I just had this playing in the background at work. I don't know if that's good or bad. Now I'm questioning everything happening here. That's over at Fort Bliss, man. I'm going to get in trouble. You're going to send the army after me. Someone's going to be upset. probably, okay, once again, we're going to get professional with it. Here we go. We're talking about the NFC North. Millie saying two of the guys are like, what are you listening to? The Crooked Commish saying you can't hide who you are. Millie laughing at me. Augustine saying having breakfast at La Madeline. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Augustine. Hope that you are having a great day. Millie, thank you so much for supporting the show. Hopefully it's not something that gets you thrown into HR. We're talking about teams that have pressure on them. The Chicago Bears were brought up as a team that has pressure on it. I don't believe that is the case. Firm believer that that's not the case for the Chicago Bears. I look at teams whenever I say teams that have pressure on them. Teams that have pressure on them, right? Augustine saying that cap, though, just screams winner. My son has that damn cap. There you go. There you go. But you see, this one I got the tippy on the side. That's how you know it's mine. Millie, as a Vikings fan, is saying she's trying to find out more about these Bears. I think the issue, the Bears are going to be okay, right? I think out of that division, the Bears are going to be the team that can have the lowest floor and the lowest ceiling, right? Like, I could picture them being the worst team in the division while also being the best, second best team in that division, right? Because I know you don't want to hear this, Millie, as a Vikings fan, but I don't know if I trust J.J. McCarthy right now, right? Now he's got weapons. He's got Jordan Addison. He's got Justin Jefferson. They've got Aaron Jones. Like, you have to look at it that way, right? Like, he's got weapons. Are these weapons quarterback proof? Meaning they can succeed no matter who the quarterback is. Yes. The answer to that is flat out yes. But can they win 14 games this year? And I don't think the Vikings win 14 games this year, right? Just like I said, I don't think the Lions win 15 games. I see the Lions being more around 12 to 13. I see the Vikings being around 10 to 11. The same thing with the Green Bay Packers. And I can see the Bears being somewhere between 8 and 9, maybe 10 wins, right? Just depending on how it goes. But I can also see a scenario where the Vikings, with the new quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, with an older offensive line, with an older Aaron Jones, could just not be on the same page, right? Like, I can see that scenario. I can also see a scenario where the Green Bay Packers just fall back, right? Like, it feels like every year we're talking about the Green Bay Packers as a team that is overachieving. So for me, whenever I look at those teams, I just kind of, we know the Lions are going to be the best team of that division. We know that. We know that for a fact. They're going to be the best team in that division. It's the other teams, right? Minnesota vastly overachieved last year. Green Bay feels like they're always overachieving. Chicago underachieved, lost a lot of one-possession games. I feel like those three teams, Chicago, Minnesota, Green Bay, those three teams can just flip-flop all season long. And there shouldn't be any pressure on Chicago. There shouldn't be any pressure on Minnesota. Maybe there's pressure on Green Bay, right? Like, you've got Jordan Love now. This is going to be, what, year 4 of Jordan Love as your quarterback? What are you going to get out of Jordan Love as your number one guy? Jordan Love had 3,300 yards last year, 3,389, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, right? Like, you want to see those numbers get better if you're a Green Bay Packers fan. But you can also see a scenario where those numbers that just might be him, right? Like, that just might be it. Sure, you got Josh Jacobs. How long is Josh Jacobs going to be a premier, phenomenal running back in the NFL? I think Detroit's got a ton of pressure on them. If we're talking about, like, the NFC North, if we're talking about those divisions, last year to me was Detroit's window. The widest open Detroit's window could have been. Losing Ben Johnson is huge. Losing Aaron Glenn is huge. You still got a ton of talent on it, but it's going to be much more difficult now because you have that weight of expectation, right? That weight of expectation is huge. It looms large. How do the Lions perform? If there's a team that has like Super Bowl or bust aspirations in that division, it's the Detroit Lions. Finishing second place in that division for the Detroit Lions would be a failure of a season for the Detroit Lions. And we're not used to talking about this because we're not used to the Lions being a team that we say any expectations for. Augustine saying, someone steal that cap and hold it for ransom. LOL. Beastrill saying that's been a bad take on every sports show and podcast in general. What do you mean, my guy? What do you mean that's a bad take? Out of that division, that's the only team that has expectations on them. Right? Like, they have to be. That's the next step in the process for the Detroit Lions. Is it Super Bowl or bust? It doesn't feel like we should say that, but it also feels like if the Lions don't take advantage of it this season, what's next season going to look like? What's the season after that going to look like? There's going to have to be some sort of change, whether it's at the coaching staff, whether it's, the players on the field. There's going to have to be a change because you're not reaching what your full potential is. Augustine saying, so Tip, I've got a question. Is that pressure of expectation the thing that undoes the Cowboys? What I mean is they've always had good players, but has the pressure gotten to them? I've said that over the last couple of years. I think the Dallas Cowboys have a ton of pressure on them all the time, right? Like they have to be the Dallas Cowboys. Whenever you're America's team, whenever you're this and that, like you're the franchise that's always spoken about, whether you want it to be or not, because your owner is doing everything he can to make sure that brand of the Dallas Cowboys is beating you over the head. That weight of expectation of, man, you look at the roster of the Dallas Cowboys, that's a phenomenal team. And they've been over the last decade, right? Like they've had a really good team. The coaching staff, but you look at the talent on that team and you say to yourself, man, this team, if, right? Once again, the caveat of if, it's a huge if everything goes right for the Dallas Cowboys, they should be a playoff contending, Super Bowl contending team. Once again, going into last season, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys as, man, look at the roster for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a really damn good team. They could possibly make a run here. But you have 30 years, right? Just like I always say about the Cubs and the Red Sox and the White Sox and all those teams that have those long historic droughts of championships. Ultimately, not only does the pressure of winning from the media come and like weigh on your shoulders, the expectation of a fan base, that feeling of, I don't want to let these people down, winds up becoming a massive weight on your shoulders. And you see it all the time whenever you watch the Dallas Cowboys play, right? You see it all the time when you watch the Dallas Cowboys play. If they get down in the playoffs, it becomes this deer in the headlights type look of, oh my God, the fan base, they get that uneasy, nervous energy. And that energy translates. I know people don't think it does. It does. It translates onto the field. It goes all over the place. Got my dude Ryan Woodcraft for El Paso tuned in right now over on Instagram as well. So I feel like that's what it comes down to whenever you talk about the Dallas Cowboys is not only do you have the weight of expectation, whether it's given to you the right way or the wrong way or whatever way you want to look at it, but you also have the fan base thinking to themselves, oh no, here we go again, right? And it really does feel like for the last 30 years that the Dallas Cowboys have been cursed. Augustine just put that in here right now. I got to read a couple of comments here. Beastrill saying John Morton developed the offense and Shep has been on the defense since the DC came here. No, I get it. Like, I feel like they're going to have continuity, right? Like they're not bringing in a brand new defensive system. But you also have to remember, like those people that run it, that means something, man. You can have a great boss who has a great second in command, but the relationship you have with that boss is amazing. And when that boss retires and you got to go to that second in command, it doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean? It's always that way. Even if they're a great guy, you respect the guy, you've known the guy forever, they're not who you had before. And that's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all I'm saying. At least you're not dealing with a whole brand new coaching staff like what the Dallas Cowboys have right now. People forget the Eagles won the Super Bowl in the same situation last year, lost the OC and DC and an all-pro center. That is true. That is true. You got my ass on that one, my guy. Augustine saying, is it turning to a curse for the Cowboys? If they win, will it be like a Steve Young moment? I believe so. I believe so. Like if it's Dak Prescott, right? Like if they get a rookie quarterback, like let's go with the hypothetical, somehow, some way the Dallas Cowboys get Arch Manning and Arch Manning goes in there and leads the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's a Steve Young moment. If it's Dak Prescott that goes in and wins the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboys in this weird, hypothetical, bizarro universe that we're in where we actually think the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a Super Bowl, then I can say, yeah, that right there would be just the tip of a Steve Young moment. Weird transition, but I'm doing it anyway.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Guys, the summer's coming to an end, but that doesn't mean that your ass still won't be stank. What you got to do is make sure you're taking care of yourself from your pits to your tip, and the best way to do that is with www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. Woodcraft for El Paso says, from the owner's suite to the laundry room, Detroit is setting the tone. Motor City Dan Campbell will have the Lions in the NFC Championship behind a healthy defense this year. I do think that. I think that 100%, right? Like, you getting Aiden Hutchinson back is going to be huge for the Detroit Lions. He's like a perennial defensive player of the year kind of guy. So I agree with you on that. Like, if the defense is healthy, they're going to have themselves a hell of a time doing what they've got to do. Augustine saying, thank the maker that I had my headphones on. It's me and a bunch of old people, LOL. No, that would have been fantastic, Augustine, to have just the tip blaring in La Madeline. That would have been great. Nonetheless, you missed a golden opportunity. People could have been looking at you, just like they did to Millie a little earlier today, looking at you. What the hell's going on over there at that table? Nonetheless, we're all right. We're good. We're moving on. The Detroit Lions, to me, once again, it's the weight of expectation. I believe the Lions have the most pressure on them than any team in the NFC North. I feel like most people are expecting the Vikings to take a step back. Most people are expecting the Packers to kind of just be the same or take a step back. And most people are probably taking or expecting the Bears to be a little bit better. Augustine just sent me a picture of his view. I thought it was going to be something grotesque, like he was going to be in the bathroom or something like that. Luckily, he's just at a restaurant. Great time being at a restaurant. Yes, I did see it smelled like somebody's closet, like an old closet. In that picture, I could smell it. When we look around the rest of the NFC, right? The Eagles, I don't think we can say the Eagles have pressure on them. We look at the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, the Dallas Cowboys are going to have pressure on them. We can talk about that a little bit later, but I feel like we already kind of did. But a team now that I think has unjustified expectations on them is going to be the Washington Commanders, right? Because a lot of people are out there saying that the Washington Commanders could potentially win that division. I feel like Washington got extremely lucky last season. Not just in the draw in the playoffs, but through the entirety of last season, right? Like the Hail Mary against Chicago. A lot of one-score games there. We went over it. Out of all the wins they had, 7 of the wins were one-possession games. The ball bounced their way last season. There could be a real scenario here, where the Washington Commanders are the number 3 seed. You can see that I did it. Number 3 seed in that division. And I feel like people are going to look and be like, oh, look at the way Jaden Daniels stepped back, this and that, blah, 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 blah. The quarterback to me always gets too much credit and too much blame. Ryan Woodcraft saying, don't sleep on J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota. Dude is a playmaker and calm under pressure. This may be his rookie year on the field, but he had a year of academics to prepare for it. That's a Michigan guy right there. Ryan Woodcraft showing off his Michigan bias to J.J. McCarthy. I feel like Strilla would do the same thing. I'm not sleeping on him. I feel like Minnesota's offense is quarterback proof, right? Like you have a few teams out there where you look at it and you can say, oh yeah, no matter who the quarterback is, that team's going to be okay. And that's because you have Jordan Addison, you have Aaron Jones, you have Justin Jefferson. Like you've got some talent in Minnesota that I feel like is going to really help out J.J. McCarthy. Look at what they made. They turned Sam Darnold into a Pro Bowler last year. They turned Sam Darnold into a $100 million quarterback. They can feasibly do that with J.J. McCarthy. But the what if, right? Like, again, to have the expectation of Minnesota's going to win 14 games, you're drunk. They'll say, like, oh, Detroit's going to win 15 games. You're drunk. You're doing more ayahuasca than Aaron Rodgers and me on a Saturday night in Arizona. Augustine saying yesterday he met an Eagles fan from Philadelphia, have a meeting with him in about 20 minutes, talk about a homer. Oh, yeah. Now, every Eagles fan, everything that you do in Philadelphia is better than anything that's ever been done anywhere else in the history of the world. Can't stand Philadelphia. Which is wild that one of my best friends is from Philadelphia. Crazy. Same thing with Pittsburgh. I'm not a big fan of Pittsburgh, and one of my best friends is from Pittsburgh. James and Pat. James is a Yinzer. Pat's a Philadelphia socialite. Billionaire Pat, as we call him, as his moniker is. The Washington Commanders, to me, once again, I feel like they have an unjustified amount of pressure, expectations on them because of what they did last season, making it to the NFC Championship game. I cannot see a scenario, not this season, where Washington winds up becoming the team that's in the NFC Championship again. Like, I can't see it that way. And as much as I want to be on the bandwagon of being like, man, they could really win that division, I feel like a healthy Dallas Cowboys team is better than Washington. I still feel like Philadelphia is better than Washington, despite having the mass exodus. I like what Washington's done, right? They needed help along the defensive line. They got help along the defensive line. They needed help along the offensive line. They got help along the offensive line. They needed more weapons to help out Terry McLaurin. They go out, they get Deebo Samuel via trade. I like what they've done. But I still think a healthy Dallas Cowboys and a healthy Philadelphia Eagles are better than the Washington Commanders. Now, that's not to say that I don't think Washington can wind up being another team in the playoffs, right? Like that they can be a playoff team that they can be in the wild card or anything of that nature. I think Washington can be there. Again, I feel like the NFC East is going to be a bunch of cannibals eating the Giants and then beating up on each other. But if Washington were to finish in third place in that division, it's not a failure of a season. If they were to get knocked out of the playoffs in the wild card round, it's not a failure of a season. But I feel like most people would think and they'd see that, go, well, you go from the NFC Championship to losing in the wild card. Man, you must suck. Like, you must have taken a huge step back. We got to look at the development of what Jaden Daniels is, right? Is he going to have a sophomore slump? I don't foresee Jaden Daniels having a sophomore slump the same way I don't foresee Caleb Williams having one, Bo Nix having one. But would you be surprised if there was a step back? I think the answer to that is no. Ryan Woodcraft going on to say, Green Bay and Jordan Love, do they have a better shot at the number 1 seed or missing the playoffs? I think if that's the goal we're going with, can Green Bay be the number 1 seed in the NFC, or can they miss the playoffs? I think they're much closer to missing the playoffs than they are to being a number 1 seed. Like genuinely, I feel that way. I feel like I have to play something in the meantime because my dog is at the back door whimpering. So I got to make sure my dog is okay. So I'm just going to play something. What can I play here to get us through a little bit of time? I'm just going to click this. I'll be right back, guys. It's not going to play all the way through, but I've got to make sure my dog's okay. I hear him whimpering, and I know he wants to go outside. I got to take care of my dog. I apologize. The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made. Get it together, Tip. Jesus Christ, what's going on in your world? Warren Woodcraft saying, play Sweet Caroline. I would have to pay money to play Sweet Caroline. I probably should have done just the tip again. I was thinking of it, but I don't want to desensitize y'all to just the tip. It feels like maybe there was a ghost in my house, the way the dog ran out of the house, man. I haven't seen any weird things. The camera hasn't moved like it did that one time. I think we're going to be okay. Tommy Cadonza saying Washington overachieved last year. Again, I agree with you on that. I really feel like they did. Ryan Woodcraft saying, is this the year the NFC West champion has a 500 win percentage? I don't think so. I think the Rams are going to be a good team. I can see the Rams winning between 10 to 11 games. I think they win that division. Again, I feel like the only division, there's 2 divisions that can have a close to 500 record and win the division would be the NFC South and the AFC South, right? Like, I know a lot of people are big on Houston. I've got Nico Collins on one of my teams. I was going to say Nico Harrison. I got Nico Collins on one of my teams, my fantasy teams, and I got high expectations. So I got Joe Mixon on another one. I think Joe Mixon's going to take a step back because they brought in Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's going to probably get a couple more carries than what I want him to, which is going to hurt my team, right? But there's something about the Houston Texans that I look at as fraudulent, right? Like, it's crazy to say that, but there's something about the Houston Texans that I just don't trust. Shout out to It's Emmy who tuned in right now as well. Ryan Woodcraft saying, Nico Collins, great choice. Go blue. The bias is showing, my guy. But I'm with you on that one. That's a great pickup. Great pickup right there. Augustine sent me another picture of himself. I'll show it right there. You can see Augustine looking as beautiful and dapper as always. August Ferratu. I mean, I'm good with it. Thank you for sharing your life with me. I appreciate it. But the AFC South, like I can see Houston winning that division with a 9-8 record, right? I can see. I don't think Tennessee is going to win the division. I don't think the Colts are going to win the division. The Colts are in trouble. Anthony Richardson, Daniel Jones, quarterback battle. That's not a place that you want to be. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars. Once again, our second favorite team on this show. If you support this show, by default, your second favorite team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars. We love and support our Jacksonville Jaguars. Duval. Oh, that was great. Liam Cohen's never going to live that down. Nonetheless, I can see like a scenario, like, again, I think Houston's going to be the best team of that division, but I don't think they're going to run away with that division. There's nothing about the Houston Texans that I'm looking at over the last couple of years where I say to myself, I trust this team. And even if the Houston Texans make it to the playoffs, they are a fraudulent team. We've seen them get dominated in the playoffs time and time and time again. Shout out to Yvette who just joined right now. Yvette, it was cool. Like, it's so weird, this space that I occupy, because I don't look at myself as someone who's like important or that people could recognize, right? And a couple of days ago, after the day game for the El Paso Chihuahuas, I went to a bar. I'm hanging out with a couple of my friends at the District on Airway. And Yvette is there with her boyfriend. And we get introduced because the boyfriend knows my friend. We all introduce each other. And me and Yvette are kind of looking at each other like, how do we know one another? And it was super cool because Yvette owned a daiquiri business here in El Paso called Suck It Daiquiris. Loved the name. It was right by my house. I went into Suck It Daiquiris and I ordered the Just the Tip daiquiri because why the hell wouldn't I order Just the Tip daiquiri? And I put a review on there, and Yvette's like, you did that review. Oh my God. Like, that's how we got to talk to each other. And it was super awesome meeting someone who had such an awesome vision. I loved Suck It Daiquiris. I was so heartbroken whenever it closed, but I can't wait to see what Yvette does next. But it's so awesome being able to meet people like that with some of the weird, crazy BS that I do for my life, right? Like, it's so cool occupying this area. And then like there was another guy that came up to me and was like, there's a lot of people in El Paso that support you. We're rooting for you. Keep doing what you're doing. Y'all have no idea how much I appreciate little messages like that, because it's tough doing this stuff, man. Like being out there, being public, being opinionated, having UTEP hate you, and having this reputation, I guess, of being a guy who asks silly questions to coaches. I can't remember the last time I had a coach on my show. But if you don't get the show, like, I don't care what your plan is for your defense. I just want you to have a good time, right? Tell me a story. Keep me entertained. That's the stuff that I care about. Augustine saying that's awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. Augustine saying we support you, Tip. That's different than we support your Tip. Ryan Woodcraft saying, what? You're opinionated? What? 100%. I'm all about like the local stuff here in El Paso. Like that's my thing. I'm trying to support local as much as possible. I can't wait till we grow some stuff here. I know I've been talking about it. It's just, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, but we're getting there. We're getting there. We're doing what we got to do. And yes, Ryan, slightly opinionated. Now here comes some bad news. Augustine, I need you to stick around for this one. I won't be able to do a show tomorrow because I have to go to the VA. I got a phone call yesterday telling me that I have an appointment at the VA at 8:15 in the morning. And I keep wondering to myself, who is scheduling these GD appointments? And it has to be me, but there's no way that I would have scheduled an appointment on a Friday during the middle of my show. So I'm trying to figure out like when this got moved around or how it got moved around or what. But like I tell them all the time, my schedule is I can do like 9:15 and afterwards. I got a fast car. I probably shouldn't admit to this, but if I need to drive faster than what I do or than what's expected of me to drive, I'll drive as fast as I possibly can. I like driving fast. But no show tomorrow. I do have a couple of interviews. Maybe we can pre-record something, but I always feel like that's disingenuous. I do have an interview with a celebrity chef that I can play tomorrow as well, that I want to play. He's over at the Little League World Series, and he's talking about the best way to support your children if they're in athletics with proteins and different types of proteins. So it's super awesome. I do want to play that interview. I'll more than likely play it tomorrow, but I won't be able to do a live show tomorrow. I apologize. I'm hurt. Meeting time, and we will see you all tomorrow. Wait, what? The VA again? Yes, I'm trying to take care of myself. And then Augustine saying iHeartRadio is scheduling your appointments. It really feels that way sometimes. Our guy Ryan Rickcraft saying support local. Will Hernandez and Mijos Tacos are all about supporting our local high school football teams. Yes, they are. That's super awesome. I need to find a way to get an interview with Will Hernandez and Mijos Tacos and try to do some stuff with them. I know some people, but I always feel weird being like, hey, do you guys want to come on my show and talk? Like, I always feel weird about that. Augustine saying support local tips, the most local tips. Support them the best way we possibly can. We'll see. Maybe I go live tonight and I just replay it tomorrow morning. We'll see what we do. Mia Khalifa and Mike Tipton. Yes, both of us. Adult stars that graduated from the University of Texas at El Paso. That's the best thing that UTEP has given the world is me and Mia Khalifa. Maybe one day we'll collaborate. I did try. Mia Khalifa knows a lot about basketball and knows a lot about hockey. And whenever I worked at ESPN, I tried to get her on one of the shows at ESPN. Maybe I just do it on my own show. We'll find a way to make this happen. That'll be a way. Mia Khalifa and the tip. You know what? Maybe I'll do it after. Maybe I'll do it after my appointments. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see how it all works out. Because I do want to do a show tomorrow. Tommy Canazzo saying, no worries, take care of your tip. LOL. I'm true. I'm doing my best. I'm trying my best. Once again, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's show. It was awesome talking with everyone, doing all the stuff with sports. We'll see what we do tomorrow. I will let you all know what it is that I'm going to do tomorrow. I want to play that interview, so I'm going to make sure that interview gets played just to give a little bit of love to the Little League World Series and celebrity chef Josh Capon. Once again, thank you all so much for being a part of today's show, tuning in, all the support, all the love. I appreciate it beyond words. Thank you so much. We will see you all tomorrow.